In the previous tutorial, we created a very basic template, and we showed it in Template Farm. In this tutorial, we are going to explore additional properties we can apply to our template to extend its functionality. So, we already added a bit more content to our composition. Now we have a title layer and a subtitle layer. And both of them are animating one after the other. So, first, we'll save this project again. Remember, you need to keep your farmer up and running so it can detect the changes you make to your composition and update it online. If you navigate back into your project, you'll see that we now have title, subtitle, and background. Now, we're not going to change anything and just hit Preview. And this screen will appear. When we preview our compositions in Template Farm, by default, Template Farm grabs the latest frame of your composition and shows it in the preview. So, since we animated our content, the last frame is empty, and this is what we see. There is a way that you can tell Template Farm which frame you would like to see when you preview your composition. In order to do that, you need to add an additional property to your composition. Remember, we started our composition name with a hashtag, and then the name we chose. We can continue adding properties by separating them with a hashtag. So we are going to add a hashtag, type preview, and then in brackets designate which frame number we want to appear in the preview. We are going to choose frame 28, the frame we are on now. If you prefer, you can actually use multiple frames if there are a few key moments you would like to provide a preview for. In order to do this, separate every frame you want to preview with a comma. So, in our case, we want to preview the title in frame 28. And then, we want to preview our subtitle in frame 70. So we will type 28, 70, and then of course, close the brackets. Now, Template Farm will know which frames to grab from the composition when the user hits Preview. So, save your composition and go back to Template Farm. In Template Farm, under the More tab, click Reset. This will reset your composition in Template Farm, and then hit Preview again. Now this looks much better. This is showing you a carousel of images, the two frames we just designated in the composition. The first frame is our title, and the second frame is our subtitle. So now we can preview two frames which are the key moments in our composition. Now, let's add more functionality to our composition. So, going back into our composition, there is multiple properties that you can add to your layers that will simplify the process. For example, we can set the title to be something that is required. This means that you cannot produce or preview content without populating the title field with information. For the subtitle field, we are going to limit the number of characters that the users can input, so that the text does not overflow out of your view. For this, we are going to use the limit hashtag and limit it to 50 characters. To do this, you type limit brackets 50 and then close the brackets. We're going to save our project again. And back in Template Farm, we're going to reload it again. Remember, it might take a few seconds before you see the changes take effect online. So now we have a red asterisk next to the title, which means if a user tries to preview content without populating the title field, a message will appear that information is missing. And it will be marked in red. So the user must populate the title. The subtitle field has a character count in the bottom right of the text box, which will essentially count the number of characters and not let a user type more than 50. Now we will preview this content. So the first frame is hello, and the second frame is actually a little bit too long. So we can go back and adjust the number of characters we set as the limit and change it to 40 characters. There are a lot of properties you can add, and we're going to cover different properties you can add to different layers in future tutorials. But always remember that you can go to your documentation page, and under After Effects, you will find all the properties you can use, and each one will have examples of how you can use them in After Effects. We will discuss this more in the next tutorial.